A spectacular performance. Curry from half court.
Sometimes, something looks like it's been there a while. We are here after a one episode absence. Unfortunately, timings weren't working out. Ramadan was Ramadaning, and I was busy. Late night at the mosque, early mornings at the mosque. Shout out the man upstairs. But we're back. Those holy nights are all done. And we're here for basketball. We've been watching all the games though, so to the fans at home, don't think that we've been MIA from NBA. We were on a fabulous little streak until last night. It seems like our episode recordings are the bad luck. The second we lock in a day to record, Warriors have to lose the night before. We were 5-1, or no, 6-1, if I'm not mistaken. 6-1. We first played against the Heat, then the Magic, then the Hornets, then the Spurs, then the Mavs, and then the Rockets, and then the Mavs again, which ended up in a heartbreaking loss last night. Let's get started. Just kind of analyzing each game as we always do. Talk about the things we noted, and have some good basketball discourse. I'm gonna pass the rock to over the head of Wes to Thomas.
We're doing this chronologically starting from the Miami game is what I'm
Yeah,
assuming.
let's just start with the Miami game. Why not? Let's probably try not take too much time because there are a fair bit of games.
Okay, yeah. All right, then I'll just keep it brief. The Miami game. I don't think there's too much you can analyze from it because it was without Jimmy. Heat were very, very shorthanded. There's just not much offense to be found on that roster when Jimmy's not playing. They were using Bam as the first option, which is as ugly as it sounds. The Warriors basically just had to not let him drop 50 on our head, and we were going to win that game. It was one of many hot shooting nights by Clay over the past couple of months. He's 100% back, I think at this point it's fair to say. Or he's as back as he's ever going to be. This is probably about the best version we're going to be seeing of him going forward. And I think it's going to be serviceable as like a 2A or 2B type option in the playoffs. I doubt it's going to be a 1A, 1B. I mean, we've already had this conversation many times that we know it's going to be Kuminga or nobody. We'll see. But anyways, yeah, I mean, there's just not too much to say about that. We beat a very shorthanded Heat team without Jimmy Butler. That's what we should have done. So we did. So
yeah. I guess my takeaways from this game and then a lot of the games during this winning streak are like our improved ability to win without Steph having a great game. And like it's kind of ironic because the one game that Steph had a pretty solid game last night against the Mavericks, we lost. But overall, during this winning streak, he hasn't really been nuclear Steph, and we've been able to beat pretty solid teams. I mean, I know the Heat didn't have Jimmy, but even with Bam, they still have like the personnel to be a solid defensive team. And they're kind of just deep all around. I mean, Jimmy's obviously a great player, but with Spo and then the guys they have, they're still a very tough team to beat. So it's props to our guys for going out there and beating them without Steph having to really do much offensively. But yeah, that's my
absolutely.
takeaway.
Clay had a really great game.
Yeah.
And you really love to see it. Like his consistency is really like he's in full swing right now, and it's a beautiful thing because
just in time.
It's not like in the beginning of the season where it was just like, oh my God, it was like heartbreaking to see the ball in his hand. It was like, dude, what's gonna happen? What's literally gonna happen? Is he gonna take an atrocious shot, a decent shot? No one knew. But when I watched this game, I think Thomas, you and I watched this together, no? Or is this before you came down?
yeah.
You came up.
I think we did.
Yes, we did, because I remember we were talking about how
Yeah.
Butler was not playing and it's a Mickey Mouse game.
Yeah.
But it was still a good game. It was still a good performance by our boys. It was a good team effort other than Steph. He was not really there. And this is probably the last game that Kuminga played. The second last game that sorry, the third last game. No. Sorry, fourth last game that never mind. Scratch what I said. Wiggins played for a lot of the stretches.
Wiggins was only out for last night.
Yeah, I'm tripping.
But
yeah, it was good to know that he was not there. Chris Paul with 0 points, 7 assists, and 2 rebounds.
Yeah, 0 turnovers though. 7 assists,
0 turnovers. Exactly. Respect. Like it's the hater side of me coming out. It's Thomas rubbing off on me. So great performance by the guys.
3 turnovers. let's
Ooh,
not let
okay,
that go on.
never
3
mind.
turnovers.
But good performance overall. The next game, we went down to Orlando, and that was
It's
a good
up
game
to Orlando.
because
Miami, it's up, but okay. It's north.
can I get a nerd emoji in the chat? Thanks. Editor, can you put a fat nerd
Actually,
emoji? Thanks so much.
well, I mean, if you were, had a basic level of understanding of geography, you would actually just know that. So maybe not nerd emoji. Maybe, maybe let's just, try to, be knowledgeable, be intelligent, be aware of the
It's an NBA
geography
podcast,
of
not a
this
geography. It's
great
not
and
a
beautiful
geography
country.
podcast. It's actually not a geography podcast.
The beauty of America is it's unbounded.
Well, thanks for doxing
It's
us.
unfathomable.
Oh no, they know we're in the US.
Oh shoot, we could have been in Canada. Hoo-hoo. Anyways, so we went up to Orlando, and a good, comfortable win. And this was a good game because the Magic are, I believe, the fifth seed, or at least at that time they were the fifth seed. And it was just
They're
a
a
good.
playoff team.
And guess who showed up that game?
Wiggins, I want to say.
Mr. Andrew Wiggins.
Yeah.
23 points, 6 rebounds, 1 assist. It was like it was like old Wiggins. You got a vibe of old Wiggins. You know what I mean? He was hitting his shots. He was being aggressive. He was doing his like kind of like from the elbow jumper. It was going
Yeah.
in. Things were looking
Yeah.
good. Draymond with 0 points, but only 4 minutes
Well, you gotta
because he
yeah,
got ejected in
ejected.
4 minutes. And that was the game that Steph. So this is where Thomas and I were discussing like what happened to Steph. Was he crying? Was he not crying? I think he got teary-eyed. So I don't know if you saw all the clips, Wes, on like
Yeah, I saw him
TikTok.
cry.
He was like,
I was
yeah, he
there.
was like crying. You were there in front row. Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
Uh, he was crying. Tom was like, no, he wasn't crying, blah, blah, blah. But I think he was straight up crying.
He was close. After watching it a couple times, he was
But
they
that's
were
kind of
tears forming.
scary. But that's kind of scary because why are you crying? You know what I mean? Like, I feel like,
Because he's a bitch.
oh my God. Wow, this is the man you swore by. Literally, like, wow.
Look, okay, look. I'm not gonna lie. If he really was crying, I don't. There has to be something more going on. Like,
That's what I'm saying. That's
really,
what's scary about it.
I mean,
I
I
know,
think it
right?
was
But
more
it's
just
like,
I think it was more just like, okay, like we just started the game and these are like they're more and more crucial as games go on because we're not on a 6 game winning streak yet, so we just
yeah.
won one. So every game is crucial and then he gets ejected in like 4 minutes. It's
But I
pretty
feel like, dude,
frustrating, I
I
think.
feel like he would be frustrated, not cry. Like, I've never seen Steph cry other than the 2022 chip.
24
Yeah,
chip, yeah, little foreshadowing.
The 2022 chip, bro.
I mean, I guess it
Um,
kind of worked out because it started a fire in Wiggins, I guess. He kicked that was the
I
game he
mean,
kicked the chair, right? Or is
yeah,
that a
yeah.
different game?
That
At the
was
end,
the
after,
game. Yeah. Dude, I feel like he was a lot of pressure building up or something like that.
I mean,
And Wiggins absorbed the pressure and he won us the game, So, yeah.
yeah. I guess okay, wait. I guess just to take a step back, like setting aside like discussions of Steph crying, all that, blah blah blah, blah, just like analysis of the game. Um, I think Orlando is a really great matchup for the Warriors because on defense, our biggest struggle, I think, over the past, ever since the All-Star break, has mostly been containing guards in the perimeter. I mean, we actually saw it in this game. Cole Anthony absolutely torching us, but outside of Cole Anthony, there's just nobody on that roster who's capable of hitting shots from deep at a consistent clip and taking advantage of our weaknesses. Both I think we played them twice this season. Paolo has done nothing both times. I don't even know if Wendell Carter was playing this game. He
He
was,
was.
didn't do
He was.
anything. Um, Franz didn't do much. He's another guy whose game revolves so much around attacking inside the paint. I think it's definitely been an interesting. It's very evident like the shift in the Warriors defense over the course of the season. From what you might traditionally associate with being the strength of the Warriors defense, like switchability, speed in the perimeter, all that stuff, to really being a unit that's strongest in the interior, especially since Trace has started getting more minutes alongside Draymond. We've genuinely become a team that's an elite uh, interior defense, which is just weird to see coming from the Warriors. That's never been our identity. I mean, obviously, back in like 2017, 2018, we were good at everything, including interior defense, but we weren't elite. It wasn't one of our
Yeah.
main strengths. But now, if you're circling like what's like a capitalized strength of the Warriors, it is that interior defense. We have been absolutely clamping some guys
Yep.
uh on the interior. I mean, I don't want to get ahead of myself, because we're going to talk about those games, but we've seen some very important plays too that have
Absolutely. Little
revolved around interior
foreshadowing.
defense. So
Little
yeah,
foreshadowing with the Dallas Mavericks match.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah, I
absolutely.
mean,
That's a really good take.
yeah, I was just gonna say like the Magic are like such a big team that for us to beat them, we would have to have like a very solid interior defense because that's as bad as they are offensively, their main strength offensively is their size. Like Franz, Paolo, Wendell Carter are like just huge forwards slash centers that can just bully you inside. But they weren't to most teams they can bully you inside, but to us it was not really much of an issue. The main issue was just like Thomas said, guards on the perimeter kind of just cooking us. And
Yep.
I know that's something we got to work on somehow. But yeah,
Yeah, Cole Anthony was like some insane like 6 for 6 or like 7 for 7 or something like that.
yeah, he was
It was
cooking
something like
us.
that. Yeah,
yeah, he was cooking us that day. It was 5 for 8, 5 for 8. So
yeah.
good performance from him.
And
And yeah,
as always, some of them were just straight up open, which is always frustrating to see, especially when a guy like that is hot and he still manages to get open looks against us. That's
Yeah,
the one unfortunate trend that has not completely gone away, even as the Warriors have started to lock in. Um, well, obviously, we'll need to fix that some. I don't know if we can fix that, but we'll need to try
we
going
will.
forward.
We're gonna for
We
sure.
will. We will.
But,
We will.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of weird because like when I think about it, like I look down up and down the roster, like Moody, Wiggins, GP2, those are very solid. Even Clay, like on occasion, can be very solid, like perimeter guards, like perimeter specific. I'm not talking about interior, but like perimeter specifically. Those three guys should be pretty solid, and they are. But like, it's kind of surprising that this is a weakness of ours on the roster. But yeah, it is. It definitely is a weakness for sure.
yeah, and it's kind of interesting that it is a weakness, just because like you guys are saying, like Clay, we have Clay, we have Wiggins. Even Kaminga, he's a decent on-ball defender. He's a pest just because of his athleticism and
Yeah.
his long arms. He's like kind of like one of our friends, Hamza. You know what I mean? Like that type of vibe.
Dude,
Who
facts.
Yeah.
fundamentally not a very good defender, just because the fundamentals are not there. But just because of the strength and the speed and the athleticism, is just a pest. It's annoying to have this guy on you on ball.
Yeah.
And I think even Moody, Moody's a better defender, I would say, than Kaminga on his
Yeah.
assignments
Yeah.
overall. So Podziemski, he does lack size. He has the hustle. He has the grit. I think he has he's an annoying on-ball guy, kind of like Kaminga. But again, I think he lacks some of that fundamental. So it is something that we could definitely change and improve upon in the foreseeable future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For sure.
I
It's
mean, I
not
feel
something
like
that's like impossible to change.
the type of guy you need because like we have very solid like Wiggins and Moody are very similar, like their archetype. They're very big, and I think that's why they're most effective on guys like Luka. Like Wiggins is like Luka's kryptonite for some reason, but
Yeah,
it kind of makes sense because Luka's not necessarily like the quickest guy, but he's very shifty and he's very big. But Wiggins kind of matches that a little bit. He's not as big as Luka, but he can kind of match his quickness, match his like
absolutely.
shiftiness with strength, with
Well,
his own
he's not
strength. But
fat, is what you mean to say. Because I think they're about the same height. It's just Luke is so fat.
no,
Some
like we
would
don't
say
have a
Really
fat,
good
some
guy.
would say
difference.
good muscle and stuff like that,
Yeah, because
He's
we know
cooking,
it's
bro.
not muscle, so
Cheeseburgers and hot dogs. No, we don't
No,
have a guy
absolutely.
like. I mean, I'm trying to think of guys that come to mind. Like Clay in his prime is like a very quick on the perimeter type of guy. KCP obviously is
In
like
his prime, but what's funny is that like
yeah,
and this is
yeah.
what Thomas said recently, and I think in the beginning of the season that Clay, because of the one positive of his regression and his like injuries and his slowness is that he could handle guys in the post and like kind of bigger, stronger guys now because he still has that
yeah,
strength. He's not as fast, but he can still guard them like the bigger, slower guys. Like
yeah.
obviously Wiggins
I
is
mean,
ideal on Luka, but even Clay on Luka, like I could see it.
oh yeah, for sure. I mean, I think against the Suns, he was one of the primary. I mean, I know in the final possession, Draymond guarded KD in the final possession, but I think Clay was guarding him in a lot of the game. So I mean, yeah, he's definitely changed his archetype defensively. But yeah. And
Absolutely.
then the
Another
Hornets
game where
game.
Steph unfortunately struggled. This is 2 games in a row that he was struggling. Like he did have How many points did he have in the end? He had 17. Oh yeah, that's a struggling game for sure.
Yeah.
And I remember this was one of those games where like, he didn't show up in the end though. And I remember that's what we were laughing because when he did the night celebration, Thomas and I were laughing because we were like, bro, respectfully, you were struggling the entire game. It's kind of like a Jordan Poole type thing, like 0 for 8. Then you hit that 1-3, and he starts like sticking his tongue out and all that. So it was funny, but you love the hype, you love the enthusiasm, like, especially when he kicked the chairs and they all just tumbled down. I was like, all right, brother, what the hell's going on?
Dude,
And I low-key felt
what if when he kicked the chair just didn't even move? He was like not strong enough to kick it.
that'd be kind of embarrassing.
In baseball, Jared Kalinick, he was once so pissed he kicked a water cooler, broke his foot.
Whoa.
That's that's an alternate universe for Steph that we can be glad didn't happen. It would
I
have
mean,
been the
Jaden
most
Ivey
embarrassing
did
moment
it.
of his career.
How important was that guy to his team?
No, things were kind of bad, which just made it even
Oh.
funnier.
All right, well then, it's like freaking
Ty
Corey
Jerome,
Joseph
bro.
kicking.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Corey Joseph.
But yeah, so good 2-game win streak. Another game where Clay not as dominant as the game before, but good solid game. And Moody got a lot more time in this game because Drake was out, and he did his role. I feel bad for Moody because he excels at his role, but unfortunately the roster is really deep. Not in deep in like excellence, you know what I mean? Like we have some deep players who are just kind of mid, and he's just not better than them at this point, unfortunately. Like, like CP3, for example, he's
Yeah.
kind of mid. You know what I mean? But he still is, his mid is still better than Moody's mid. So fortunately he can't earn his spot yet. Maybe if CP3 leaves in the offseason, that's what's gonna happen.
Please, Jesus Christ. Please.
You want him to leave?
Please.
Well, it's if we
Please.
resign him.
I can't
He's a
handle
free
it.
agent. He's a free agent.
I know.
Could sign him on a minimum.
He's about to be on that max
God.
veteran minimum.
What?
$800,000 a year.
8,000.
All right,
more
then
like.
we immediately went more up to
With,
Charlotte.
Let's go.
524.6 miles north to beautiful Charlotte, North Carolina.
Beautiful, it ain't beautiful. Let's not lie, bro.
Dude, the whole country's beautiful. That's what I was trying to say earlier.
Oh, facts. That's facts. Shout out America.
Thanks.
So very comfortable win. This was like a game where like Thomas and I were like, should we even watch the game? And we were like, because March Madness was going on at the same time. So we're like, should we even watch it? And we were like, yeah, we should. It's the Warriors. And it was like, it should have been a very comfortable game. And this was another one of those games where Steph started off struggling, and he did have kind of a struggling game this game too. I remember he was just like chucking up shots. Like he didn't even care. But overall,
he was playing like it was the Harlem Globetrotters. He was like doing
yes.
like behind the back passes and like spinning around with the basketball. I was like, what is he doing? I mean, you could tell he just didn't really. I mean, he's showing off basically.
Yeah.
Charlotte,
Yeah,
NBA,
yeah.
like
Literally.
nobody gives a shit.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think. Is there anything specific that stood out in this one? Oh
I mean,
yeah,
it's kind of
Trace
good
Jackson
we
Davis.
handled business, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean we handled business. Trace Jackson Davis absolutely killed it. He got 30 minutes. I don't know if this is his first game ever getting 30 minutes. It might have been. I think he's gotten 30 minutes a couple games since then, but yeah, I mean he was given more minutes this game, handled them incredibly. I mean Charlotte is a it's paper thin on the interior. They have nobody. So it's kind of like playing on tutorial mode against them.
Yep.
But I mean he did a great job. It's just so hard. It's so hard to talk about a game against Charlotte with any kind of like do any kind of
Realism
analysis.
to
Like
it,
it's Charlotte,
yeah.
dude.
Yeah,
it's
they're a
like
joke team.
We beat them.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a pathetic team. I think
Get
another
well
thing.
soon, Brandon Miller. Get well soon, Brandon Miller. Though.
Oh
walk out with
yeah,
an
that
injury.
was the game he kind of tweaked something, right?
Yeah, I'm actually really hyped for him because he looks like he has like the mentality to change things in Charlotte. Hopefully, I mean, hopefully.
I doubt it, dude.
Does.
It's tough, dude. It's really
But-
tough. The problem is that until
There's
and
no
for as long as
culture.
LaMelo is there, it's tough because here's the problem. LaMelo's also young and he has seniority over him. The overall locker room is really young. So it's like basically it's like a nerd, you know what I mean? Like it's about one friend in the group telling guys, hey man, we should study. It's like, come on, man, you a nerd. You know what I mean? Like if there's like 5 dudes who don't want to study at all and they're kind of bad influences, the one guy gets weeded out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
A great scholar, Imam Ali has said that you are the average of the 5 people or 3 people that you hang out with. So the average of the Hornets locker room is
Like
a bunch of
LaMelo, Grant
clowns.
Williams.
LaMelo, Grant Williams, freaking Miles Bridges, physical abuser. You know what I mean? So it's like, look at the culture. It's not a very productive culture. So
I feel like
unfortunately,
sorry, I was gonna say like I feel like the direction they should try to go in is like similar to what Houston's doing because they had a bunch of young guys, but then they signed a couple vets that can kind of like obviously they weren't really like a serious playoff push until like kind of recently, but the culture is there still, and it's kind of like Şengün's injured, and then they'll need young guys to like kind of naturally progress anyways. So it's not like
yeah.
there's pressure. Like there's not really pressure in Charlotte, but like do something like where it's not really serious basketball anymore.
Yeah. I feel like honestly, unfortunately, I feel like Jordan is just trying to sell out, and he's been making money. He invested, I think, $200 million into it. Now it's like $1 billion dollar franchise. So he's just gonna
I
make a
thought he
lot of
sold
money.
it.
Oh, he
already
already
it.
sold it, right? Like I thought he was like
Yeah.
finalizing the deal with like J. Cole and
I-
stuff like that.
Actually, J. Cole, that's so fun.
Yeah, J.
I
Cole's one
I
of the
literally didn't know
investors.
that.
No, there was a bunch of investors.
He's from Carolina.
I know it actually makes sense. I just didn't know it. I just didn't know it was him.
Yeah, he's one of the
I think
many
he already
investors.
sold it, but I mean, yeah, but it's getting sold either way.
Exactly. So it's like I
Um,
feel like there's just no vision. It's a horrible franchise. It's just a pathetic franchise.
Yeah.
Like look at what they're doing with talent. Like Terry Rozier, when he was with the Celtics, baller hooper. Like I'll never forget that, was it 2018, 2017 playoffs run. Then he came to Charlotte, still played well, but just look at the culture. The second he left, he's making an impact with the Heat. Like when he was playing against us, he was hooping, man. Like you're like, shoot, man, this guy is like a real hooper. He's a real, the streets will know him. You know what I mean? Type beat.
they do. The streets
Gary
will always
Terry,
remember
bro.
him.
Terry.
The streets know him, bro. The streets. So horrible franchise. I think like the next addition to the roster should be Ben Simmons. Really add to the bunch.
That would be so funny.
Really add to the bunch. Like Thomas has already lost all his money of investment on Ben Simmons. He could lose some more. He could go negative. Like you should have bought some leverage percentages. You should have like went all out for Ben Simmons. But unfortunately, horrible franchise. Should have been a very, very easy win, which it was.
Yeah.
Then we went back down to Texas, to San Antonio. And of course, Wembanyama was playing. And dude, he's just amazing.
You don't have to pretend to not know how to pronounce his name.
When
not that complicated.
Wembanyama.
Ah, there we go.
I actually have to pause a little bit to do it.
Okay.
He had a killer game. I mean, he's just amazing. He really is.
He's so phenomenal. Oh my God.
Like it's
I-
insane how good he is. Actually,
Yeah, it's just you can't even put it into words. I mean, at his age, people don't even think about it. People just don't treat him like he's fucking 19, but he is. Or I don't know, maybe he's turned 20 at this point.
he's 19.
Yeah, okay, he's turned 20 now.
Sorry,
but-
he's 20. He turned 20.
Yeah.
Oh, January 4th. Interesting. A day before
Yeah,
January 5th.
What's
2 days before January 6th.
I literally have no clue what the reference is there.
Yeah,
Oh,
me
on
too.
January 5th was just like something happened in my personal life that I don't want to share on the pod, but
Yeah,
something
no,
in my personal life happened. That was a pretty big day in my
I
opinion.
totally forgot. Anyways, yeah, I mean, people don't even treat him like that's how good he is. People don't even treat him like he's 20. I mean, it's ridiculous. I mean, and they have him surrounded with just an absolute bozo squad. And honestly, I shout out and respect to the San Antonio Spurs front office for understanding that he is so good that they have to surround him with the worst possible players in order to successfully complete a tank. Because if you put a baseline level of competence around him, he would be carrying them to within striking distance of a playoff spot. And that is not what the Spurs want, because they want to build talent around him. This is
Yeah,
a
it
glorious
looks like they're gonna
podcast.
tank well, and they have a chance to
Yeah.
draft Bronny James at the first pick overall.
And they get LeBron.
I don't know.
too.
I don't know if you guys saw all those all the he announced for the draft, which is, oh my god, unbelievable. And then like immediately after like all the memes were like his message for announcement, and then like the next page would be his stats for the year: 4.3 points, like 2.7 rebounds. Like I actually feel so bad for him, because it's like
Dude, generational.
it must be really tough. Like the imposter syndrome must be hitting, bro. How could it not, dude?
I mean, I saw some people saying like it would actually like realistically, I think the only like someone might pick Bronny to get LeBron if they have like the 20th overall pick, maybe or
Yeah, that
further,
I could
obviously.
see. No, I agree.
Okay,
But
the other thing is that so when a player says they're quote unquote declaring for the draft, it doesn't mean that they have to go into the draft. It used to mean that. Nowadays, what it means is that they're going to meet with NBA teams. They're going to get an evaluation of where they stand as a prospect. In other words, like, are you an NBA caliber player? I'm sure everybody will be telling Bronny that you're not. I mean, but he knows that. His dad knows that. Everybody knows that. And he can return to college if he wants. What I think personally is that he's after all the hype has died down, he's probably going to get evaluations in front office and end up returning to college for his second year because it
I
doesn't
don't
feel
think
like
so.
LeBron is. It doesn't feel to me. It doesn't feel like LeBron knows he's going to be done after next year. So I think LeBron will be
I don't think
comfortable letting
so.
him go back to college.
I
And
don't think so at all. I
the second
fully
year
fully
in.
disagree with that. I think LeBron is. I think he's ready to retire. I don't know if you guys saw the interview. Like he was like, I don't have much time left. Like
Yeah, he loves attention. He's
he
been
does.
saying
He
stuff
does.
like
I
he
that
agree
for
with
played
that.
three
for
or
as
four
many
But
years.
also,
years.
you have to understand, he's 39 years old. He'll be 40. You're telling me at 41 years old, he's gonna be hooping like he is right now? I don't see that.
Look, people have been saying that for 2 or 3 years now.
Wow. Look at the first ever LeBron compliment on
I mean, yeah,
air. Wow. What?
I mean,
I
I,
mean,
f- I feel like
yeah,
how it's gonna go down is
Ramadan
he
is a
just
it's just a
real
fact.
blessed month. Real
No,
blessed
I mean,
month.
look. Here's the thing. LeBron knows he can continue to just put in 50% effort, put up 24 garbage points a night, play no defense, put in no
They're a
energy.
higher seed than us.
Get dragged to the ninth seed,
They're
lose
a
in the
higher seed.
playoffs,
They're
and
the
people
eighth
will,
seed right now. They're the eighth
you
seed
know,
right now.
he'll still be like the single most popular player in the league because he's LeBron. So he can keep that up for another 2 years.
I guess it just really
I have
depends
full
on if
confidence in him.
LeBron thinks he has the ability to hoop like he is. Because see, look, right now, LeBron, any team would still take him. Any team would still take him.
Absolutely.
So that does guarantee a spot for Bronny. Dude, no, Thomas, you're wrong. I'll tell you why. Because he's a free agent this year.
He can sign a 1 year deal. I think
that's
LeBron
all he
still
does.
harbors. I think LeBron still harbors the belief, or I would say the delusion, that Bronny will actually one day become an NBA player, and it is in Bronny's best interest if he wants to genuinely become an NBA player to go back to college and work on some stuff for another
He
year.
should stay in college for 4
So,
years.
He
what
should, but
he should. Well, I mean, if he was a normal kid, that's what he would be doing. He'd be staying in college for 4 years and desperately trying to, build up a semblance of an NBA ready game. But he's not a normal kid. He's LeBron James' son. So I still think he's going to be in college for another year. That's just my personal prediction.
My personal prediction, he's going to the league.
I mean, I feel like LeBron could play as long as LeBron's just gonna play as long as it takes to get Bronny into the league. So if it's in his best interest to go back to college, he'll
15
go
more
back to college.
years.
Honestly, he'd be a
What's
role player.
10 more years?
No, but yeah, he can play for as long as like it takes, I guess. But that's my take.
I don't know. I just feel like, I mean, okay, it's just a testament to his greatness, to be honest. It's just like, how much longer can he go? Like, it's really that. It's just that's the question. It's just how much more gas does he have in the tank? And it's amazing. It's so goddamn amazing, dude. That as a 20-year-old son, you cannot even get to the league, and your 40-year-old father is gonna be like, it's unbelievable. It truly is unbelievable. Anyway, so that was a Spurs game. I think like just to highlight other guys, it was just
I don't know if we talked. I think we talked about Wembanyama and then
no,
LeBron
yeah, we
James.
just talked
I don't
about
think we
that's what I'm
actually
gonna say.
talked
Like
about
just talking about the other guys, they were hooping like it was just mainly Wembanyama, 32, 9, 5. City Osman had a decent game. Again, 3-point shooting. He was knocking down some good threes, 4 for 7 from downtown against us.
Or Zach Collins had like a good first quarter, if I remember correctly. He was like cooking it. Oh wait, is that a different Spurs game?
I think you're right. I think you're right because he only played 16 minutes. I think it was mainly in like the first half.
Yeah.
I'm not
we
entirely
lost.
sure, but like who the hell Sandro Mamulekshevy? Like the Spurs are really like, man, they know they got the design down.
Yeah.
Mamu Kalashevy.
Like shit, man,
feel like that-
can you sign me? Give me like a year contract for like $800,000, bro. I'll say less, bro. If we'll help Wemby, I'll help him. I'll throw lobs to him, bro. But anyway, so that was from the Spurs, and then from the Warriors side, Draymond Green. Oh, hooping, man, hooping like it's 2016, dude, doing fake passes,
Yeah.
going attacking the rim, bro. This is a common trend I've been noticing. He's been attacking the rim a lot more,
You got
and
to be aggressive. You got to be a threat out there.
gotta be a threat,
Yeah.
baby. You gotta be a threat, and damn straight he a threat. So you love to see that. Um, Clay, not a super hot game, but that's okay. It happens. Moody with some more time. He had 22 minutes this game. Obviously, I do think that Kerr was kind of thinking, okay, it's young guys against young guys. Let the young guys brawl it out. It should be a comfortable win. And it really was. Wiggins with a dominating 4-0-5. He's back. That's what the headline said. He's back. Curry finally came back, had a good game, 33 points. Honestly, if he had another bad game, we would have lost this game because no one else had a super duper insanely offensive game other than Draymond. But obviously, Draymond's 21 points would not be 21 points if Curry was not hooping, because then it's predictable. Okay, Draymond's playing well, clamp him up. So then there goes his like maybe 8 points.
Okay.
Then after that game, we went not down. Wait, San Antonio, Dallas,
yeah,
like
let's-
horizontal or something like that. We went
I want to say
northwest.
Ooh, yeah,
Yeah,
it might be. I was gonna say
northeast.
northeast. Yeah, it's northwest. Yeah, okay, it's northeast. Yeah, that's
Is
what I
it
thought.
northeast?
Close. I mean, you got the north. It's okay. It's Texas. It's, you didn't say south. That's what counts.
Let's see. We're
Yeah,
pulling up the
it's
Texas
northeast.
map. San Antonio,
Northeast.
yeah. It's like slightly northeast. It's more north than
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah, it's you got the one that matters. It's north.
Yeah, like
It's like
I know geography.
northeast.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's
So anyways,
geography. It's a good skill to
this
have.
was a big game because the Mavs are like they're our competition basically. You know what I mean? We're brawling
Well-
it out for the playoffs.
Well,
Unfortunately, Thomas chuckled,
they're
but
5
they're
games
ahead
ahead of us now. They're 5 games ahead of us with I think 7
Well,
games left to play.
they don't want to
so-
face us. They don't want to face us. That's for sure.
And it was a beautiful game. It was a goddamn beautiful game. These guys, like Curry struggled, unfortunately, but it was a well-balanced game. 14 points from Chris Paul, Moody 12, Pods 5, but 10 rebounds. Clay with 14 points, Steph 13, Trace 10 rebounds as well. Can you imagine Podzemski as like a 6'3" guy getting 10 boards? Beautiful. Draymond with 11 points, but bigger than that 11 points. Bigger than all that. Lord
one
have
block.
mercy. That one block and 4 steals. Wow. Defensive beast. Beautiful. He blocked that crap at the end of the game. And that was just that sealed the victory for us because it was a back and forth affair up till that point, and he blocked it. Momentum was on our side. We were able to capitalize after that point. The Mavs, Luka doing Luka things, 30 points. Ramadan Kyrie doing Ramadan Kyrie things, 27 points. PJ Washington with 20 points. Common trend, perimeter shots. Actually, I take that back. That was last night. I confused it. Against us on the second, he was 3 for 10 from downtown. So they were attacking pretty well in the paint that game.
Luka and Kyrie combined for 57. So, and yeah, I mean, and just off of memory, a lot of those were. I mean, obviously, like it's tough. You can't say like, oh, the Warriors can't play perimeter defense because Luka and Kyrie cooked them. Like, it's gonna happen. But
Right.
a lot of those shots were on the perimeter. I mean, obviously, it's Luka and Kyrie. It's gonna be on the perimeter.
Right.
The Warriors. This is a very vivid memory from that game. The Warriors gave up a wide open transition 3 to Kyrie that he bricked. Thank God. That to me was. I mean, there's a lot of small turning points in every game. That was to me was a huge turning point in that game. I feel like it probably went a little bit like under noticed because okay, he misses a wide open perimeter, like whatever. But if that goes in, all of a sudden everything changed. I think that was at the I don't remember. I want to say like the 320 mark would have given them the lead. He missed it. Warriors went back down, got a bucket on the other end, and it never got, I think, closer than 4 for the rest of that game.
Yep.
So that was a very casual turning point, and also another example of the Warriors slacking, giving a guy like Kyrie a wide open 3 on the perimeter. Not something you want to do. But setting aside the defensive struggles that I've now harped on for like 3 straight episodes, the Warriors' offense this game looked absolutely beautiful. The way that it was flowing, the way that it was generating open or semi-open shots on the perimeter off of back cuts and off the short roll and off the lobs and all that stuff. Like towards the end of the game, it was a sequence, 3 straight possessions. You get Draymond driving down for a wide open layup because there's nobody staying home in the perimeter because everybody's chasing people. Or there's nobody staying home on the interior because everybody's chasing people out in the perimeter. He gets a wide open layup. Then I think Gary Payton back cuts somebody, ducks in for for an easy dunk, and then Andrew Wiggins back cuts somebody, ducks in for an easy floater. It's 3 straight possessions, 3 straight buckets. All of them are created entirely off the ball, which is beautiful to see. It's the best kind of offense. You don't
Absolutely.
even have to work for it.
Exactly. And we didn't because Steph didn't play super well. So it wasn't those type of games where it was just like us relying on him to carry us to victory. And this is a good sign because if we could use this type of play in the playoffs, who knows? Who knows? NBA Cinderella moment? I don't know.
Dude, facts. I mean,
Who knows?
I feel like it starts off with like an aggressive everybody, especially an aggressive Andrew Wiggins, because when he's more willing to like play bully ball, which is like in the 2022 season, as bad as he's shooting right now, his like kind of greatest decrease in his like skill set is his aggressiveness and his not really willingness to attack guys like Kyrie, or I'm trying to think of other small guys that he picked on during the game, but like his willingness to just like, okay, I have a small mismatch. I'm gonna kind of like post him up, draw the double and pass it out. Like be a willing passer. But if they don't come to double, then I'm just gonna post up Kyrie and I'm gonna hit the shot over him. Now that's like super critical to our offense kind of
Yep.
going nuclear, especially in a game where Steph didn't really play super well, then it's kind of integral for him to kind of cook the smaller guys. But defensively, what I noticed is like Wiggins, when he's guarding Luka, you don't have to send a double team because he can basically guard him 1-on-1. And obviously Luka, like I think Wiggins said in like a post game interview, like, oh, he still had like a 30-point triple double. Like people are saying that I kind of locked him up, but like that's the thing with a guy like Luka is you can't really completely lock him up. Like as good as he is, it's kind of like a prime Steph, a prime LeBron, prime MJ. Like they're locked up as like 30 points, but they didn't get to facilitate as well as they would hope to because you
Exactly.
didn't double team them, you know.
Exactly.
But
like a difficult 30 points. It wasn't just like it came easy.
it was also like
You
it
said
wasn't like
you
it
said
wasn't
MJ, Steph, LeBron,
Kobe,
3 guys with a
Shaq.
combined let's see what 14 rings. Maybe let's calm down a little bit.
Let's wait till these playoffs.
Just a
Let's see
little
what
bit.
happens.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Sorry. Just,
Okay, facts. No, but like, I mean, like Luka's gonna get his regardless, and same with a guy
Yes,
like
he
Kyrie
is.
when they're really
Yeah.
on, they're gonna get it regardless. But I think it's really good to see that Wiggins is like taking on a challenge. Like he's taking issue with okay, Luka's like if I'm Luka is my assignment to guard this game, and I'm gonna lock him up because he's their best player. If he's cooking, then they're firing on all cylinders because that's kind of Dallas's recipe for winning is just offense in transition, just kind of like throwing lobs basically like everybody, like Lively, Jones, PJ Washington, they can all bully inside, and if
Gafford
Wiggins can kind of
now,
Gafford, yeah,
especially, dude, he
Yeah.
pairs so well.
Oh
He pairs
yeah.
so well.
That was the thing I
Yeah.
was gonna note. That like, see, Thomas is so right. Gafford. You said he should come to the Warriors, right? But before the
I
deadline.
would have loved him. Although I will
He would've
say,
been nice.
I didn't fully anticipate Trace Jackson Davis having like a true breakout, and he is kind
Yeah.
of fulfilling the role that Gafford would have fulfilled. So
Yeah,
maybe it
yeah.
would have been a bit redundant in the end, but I think I can still collect my my props for being right about Gafford. He was being
Sure.
hidden. He was being hidden in Washington. He was
He's
he
an
was
insane lob threat.
always destined.
He's so
He was
good.
always destined for a role like this somewhere.
Yeah, he's a good lob threat. He's a good rim protector, man. He's really solid.
Yeah.
He's a real solid player.
But I felt this way about like this. I don't know if this is like a hot take, but I feel like the Warriors do have like a championship level defense ceiling. And I felt that kind of like all season. Like with an engaged Wiggins, he can guard like any team's best player. Like Luka is like as good as any perimeter initiator on any contender, but he locked or did as well as anybody could locking him up. And that's kind of what you need with a good defensive ceiling, like a guy like Aaron Gordon who can lock up a LeBron, a Jimmy Butler. I'm trying to think of the other contenders, but like Wiggins in our championship year, he was
Yeah, absolutely.
part of the defense, part of
AD
our
in
defensive
2020.
ceiling. AD in 2020, LeBron in 2020. It was the reason they were so good is because of how dominant they were defensively.
Absolutely.
That's the key to any contender, I
It's
think.
funny, like the Nuggets are probably like the only outlier to this. Like they don't
Aaron
have
Gordon
a
though,
dominant.
Aaron Gordon was like he took
True.
I don't know who he took in the Sun series, probably KD, but like Anthony Edwards, KD, LeBron,
True.
Jimmy Butler, those are tough assignments, and he's taking them on
True,
the
true,
chin,
true.
and
And he
he's
did his role, but I would say like to the level of dominance we're talking about, like, like actually Wiggins, actually, I don't know. Like, okay, how would you guys say like Wiggins in 2022, him defensively and Aaron Gordon defensively? Would you say like about same level?
Wiggins is better,
Well,
I
again,
think, but
I
at the
mean,
same
let's not
level, I
forget,
think.
like, Wiggins was not the best defensive player in the Warriors in 2022. Like,
It was Dre,
not even
obviously.
close. It was Dre,
Best
obviously. Like,
best
so
perimeter defender though, I would
best
say.
perimeter defender. But but like when if you're gonna compare, like quote unquote anchors, Wiggins is not the guy you're talking
I would
about.
say,
Like,
well,
I,
we're comparing like who can like perimeter defenders, like Aaron Gordon compared to
Oh,
Wiggins.
I was talking.
Draymond is
I thought we
obviously
were talking about
also like,
anchors, like AD.
oh, well, that's why I brought up LeBron because LeBron was and
that's
True,
why I
Caruso.
true,
was
true, true.
laughing.
Caruso is probably more the guy. Caruso and Kuzma
Yeah.
on that team.
Caruso was that guy. And unless I'm completely forgetting, KCP was also on the Nuggets last year.
Oh, he
That's not a
was.
false memory.
That is true.
But I was
He
more bringing up
was.
like big
Yeah, I
guys
mean,
like Jimmy,
yeah.
LeBron.
Obviously, Aaron Gordon was going to be handling the wings, but
Yeah, yeah.
I
KCP
think,
as well, obviously. He's part of why they're so
yeah,
good.
but I think, I mean, not to get too far off topic, but if you're talking about that team, they're an out, they are a genuine outlier because the offense was so unfathomably efficient.
I
For
still
that
think their
team,
defense is
Yep.
like
that is what their defense was incredible, but they could afford, because again, traditionally, when you're talking
yeah,
about the quote unquote defensive anchor, it's going to be the big. I mean, in the Warriors' case, it's a little bit unique because Draymond is 6'6", but he plays the big. We all know that. But in their case, they obviously have like maybe the most skilled offensive big of all time, maybe. So it's definitely an outlier on their part that allows them to be built a little bit different than your average championship team.
Absolutely.
But but
Absolutely.
circling back, this is still a Warriors podcast.
No, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. It's a Still Warriors podcast. And I think it's just more talking about the defensive anchors that I don't know how we actually got here. We were talking about the
That's
Mavs
what I was trying to
Warriors.
say, because look, yeah, I was forgetting. I don't
I
even
actually
remember how we
forgot
got here.
as well. I forgot as well. But I actually have to make a correction. We did not go northeast. We actually went completely west. We came back to Chase Center. So we wasted our time just yapping for no reason. So I think a good performance overall with Steph not playing well. If our unit plays how they have been playing, it's a sign for good things to come. Then we went back east to Texas, and we went to Houston, and it was just an easy win against the goddamn Rockets.
Oh, man.
Talking all that smack. Like, what's up?
A lot of talk.
A lot
There
of
was a lot of talk.
All that talk.
Some people may say too much talking, not enough playing.
Unbelievable. Like, it's just like you're on the bench, brother. Like,
what do you guys talk about?
we're talking about
Harry Eason.
we're talking about we're talking about Houston Rockets, easy win, comfortable win,
Yeah.
light work. Yeah, I mean, things that you expect.
You guys
Like,
see Clay stare down Dylan Brooks? Dude, he owns Dylan Brooks. It's so funny.
Does, dude. There's so many. It's so. I almost feel bad for him because there's so many players at this point who own Dylan Brooks, and he doesn't own anybody. It's really kind of tragic.
Yeah.
I kind of want to. At one point, I just want him to get like one win. Like just like clamp somebody in a big moment. Just like so he can talk and not look like a total idiot.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
it wasn't going to be this game. It was an absolute vintage performance from the Splash Brothers. 58 combined. I was hoping they would get to
absolutely.
60 combined. That would have been, I'm sure Bleacher Report could put up a cool graphic about that, but didn't get to 60.
Unfortunately.
Yeah, I mean, I think to be fair, a lot of it was just a particularly hot shooting, which I mean, it's Steph and Clay, so you're going to get that some games. But again, offense was looking so crisp, generating good looks. I mean, when it flows, when it works, it's such a fine-tuned machine with the way they're able to get them. I mean, I say good looks. Obviously, a lot of them, they're heavily contested, but it's Steph and Clay. So as long as they're stepping into it, they're in rhythm in the right motion. They're good looks. The way that the offense is able to so consistently get them those looks, despite the fact that at this point the Warriors motion offense is far from a novel invention. Everybody knows what you're going to be getting, and it continues to look so beautiful when it works, which it was against the Rockets. So it was just a fun game to watch. Very very reminiscent of better days. 2018,
Yeah.
just blowing a
Yep.
team out by 23. Steph and Clay going off. It
Absolutely.
was a fun game.
It was
And
a very fun game.
Trace having a pretty solid game as well.
Oh,
He did,
yeah.
yes, he did.
And Wes, I'll give you a moment to talk about the video you sent in the chat, talking about how Trace has really excelled
Check
into
what
our
video I
unit.
sent.
You sent it a couple days ago. I don't want to
Oh,
catch you
yeah.
off guard. If you forgot about it, no worries. But if you
With the
scroll up,
Clay
the
and
inevitable
Trace.
chemistry between Trace Jackson Davis and
Oh,
Klay
yeah.
Thompson.
Yeah, you rewatch that right now. I'm just kidding. I didn't watch it, to be honest. I just sent it.
Oh, okay. Well,
But,
no
Actually,
worries.
I'll take credit.
it's kind of funny. I watched it.
Oh shoot.
Okay, you can talk about it on my
I was
bad.
like,
Alright,
hey,
Thomas.
that's a good suggestion. It's like shout out Wes for sending this video. It was informative.
All right, Thomas.
Yeah, I
go
mean,
ahead.
it was no, I mean, it was just a pretty it was an informative but pretty basic breakdown of all the stuff that Trace Jackson Davis has been providing the Warriors. A lot of it's stuff that we've talked about already. Um, the catch radius that he has is really nice because obviously we have a guy like Draymond and CP3. I have to give him credit, who are so much more than capable of putting lobs in the right spots for a guy with the catch radius like Trace Jackson Davis to go up and get them. He was talking about just his athleticism and touch as a finisher. Uh, how I mean, again, this is I think reminiscent of something I was saying last episode. He's the only, basically, maybe not the only, but I honestly, if I'm being honest, the only guy who consistently finishes things that you don't expect him to finish, which is always nice to see. And then on defense, just talking about how his ability to rotate to the perimeter has, bailed the Warriors out during some defensive possessions where probably previously it would have been, a bucket, and he's able to rotate from off the ball and save a basket.
I don't know what
You should completely throw me off. For
signaling.
viewers at home, my son is making hand gestures. It's throwing me off in my monologue. I have no clue what's going
I
on.
apologize. I just noticed the recognized hand gesture thing on Zoom, and I'm trying to like experiment with it.
It's
Sorry.
completely distraught. I was like
Sorry, it's
losing
the
my
computer
freaking
vision
mind
in me.
going.
I thought you were like 5 minutes left or something.
It's the
It's like,
AI in
what?
me, bro. It's the AI in me, bro. I apologize. It's the
Yeah, I
computer
mean,
science
I
in me.
you know, I said I piece. Yeah, I mean, it was a good video. I mean, it wasn't like,
Shout out me.
groundbreaking, rewriting how I see the game basketball, but it was just kind of going over some of the stuff that I think we've all been seeing
Yeah.
from Trace.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
know if this is like
Beautiful
I
stuff.
don't know if this is mentioned in the video because I didn't actually watch it, but I think it's like insane how kind of like this is like you guys have brought this up before comparing Trace to Wiseman, but like Wiseman has an even greater catch radius than Trace, and he's more athletic than Trace, but Trace is just I don't know like his I don't know I'm trying
Like
to think of
eye-hand
the
coordination.
hand-eye
Eye-hand
coordination, but also like very quick ability to adapt to like CP's play style, Steph's play style, Clay's play style, Wiggins' play style. Like basically everybody has their own play style.
Maybe
He's
it's like the
very
4 years in university. Maybe Wiseman should have
that's
stayed in uni
that's
for 4 more
probably
years, 3 more years. You know
yeah,
what I mean? Like
yeah.
going to college for 4 years is underrated. It really teaches you, it really humbles you, it really makes you learn how to work as a team, you know?
To compare to Wiseman's like
Yeah.
2 games or whatever.
Literally. Literally.
Man, that's such a red flag looking back. But I mean, hindsight's always 2020.
I think it's like a fever
yeah,
dream that we took him and then
but-
he
Because there's
Yeah,
also
but,
COVID
I mean,
during that
speaking of
time.
yeah, that was such a stupid pick. But I mean, but speaking of Tracy, it was 4 years in college. I think it's also just another thing. They were talking in that video. He was talking about like his footwork down low and his ability to carve out space for himself. And I think it's fascinating to see a guy who spent 4 years at college as a number one option, playing mostly out of the post, and you're now seeing a lot of that skills, the touch the footwork, the finesse that he developed while playing as a post scorer first option in college is now being translated to a kind of like more modern NBA roll man lob threat type big. And obviously like it's not the same skills, but a lot of them are translatable. And it makes me think a little bit about like that might be something teams are starting. Some NBA teams, some scouts might have their eye on is like we're guys who are playing in the post in college who can translate some of those skills to the NBA. I think it reminds me actually a little bit of Jaime Jaquez, who's obviously not a big, really. He's a forward, he's a wing, but he's another guy who he's been able to translate all of the footwork and touch that he developed playing as a post scorer in college to playing more of a kind of a modern NBA wing role in the NBA. I think that might be a trend you start to see more and more, considering the ways that the college and pro game diverge.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like
just-
being able to like consciously impose your size and your height on someone is kind of like an underrated skill
Yeah,
because some guys like Wiseman just never really had it. Like even
he
like
might
the
as well have been
touch
6 foot even.
might as well have
7 foot
is,
for reaching things off the shelf.
Dude, literally.
dude. But yeah, like Trace is just like when he catches in the post, he's kind of like more patient than other guys. Like he doesn't immediately try to go up and get blocked by a Jabari Smith or whoever's guarding him in the post. He kind of like takes his time, feels it out, and then he does what he's done 1,000 times in college, and then he just lays it in. So that's
Yeah.
I think it's an underrated skill, especially on this team.
Absolutely.
But
Absolutely, bro. Shout out him, man. I'm excited for I like our young core. Despite how roller coaster the season's been, I do like our young core. I like Trace. I like Moody. I like Quinones. Well, that was butchered that
Yoy Yoy, is that like the
translation.
doodle
Oops.
bob?
Butchered that pronunciation. Pods, etc. So very nice, comfortable win against the Rockets, as it should have been. So really put them in their place. And finally, then we went up northeast. Sorry. Yes, northeast, right? Where's Houston?
Oh no, it's actually southeast.
Yeah, I was gonna say Houston's like South Central Texas, I think.
Oh, so it'd be
Maybe all the way,
northwest.
maybe all
This
the way
would be
down to the
northwest.
coast.
This would be northwest. Northwest. From Houston to Dallas is northwest.
Oh, I thought you were Dallas to Houston. I don't know why.
Houston is. Oh, I was wrong. It's a. It's
That's what I
kind of.
heard.
It's not really central.
That's,
Yeah, it's
yeah.
it's basically just straight north, just a straight shot up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we went up there and unfortunately we lost on a last possession, missed three. Clay could have given us the game. Tough miss, but there were still positives throughout the game. Steph had a good game. Clay, okay game. Chris Paul with, a Chris Paul game. 9, 8, and 5. I watched a lot of the first half, so you guys don't have to carry the second half. But in the first half, I noticed Pods had a good game. He was dominating. He was doing his thing. GP2 had a good game. So another thing I noticed. And Dre doing Dre things, facilitating the offense. I did not see much of Steph or Clay like in the first quarter, even like the second quarter.
Really, this was a Chris Paul statement game, is what it really was. His like the Warriors starting lineup managed to rack up double-digit deficits, I think, at multiple points during this game, only for the bench lineup led by Chris Paul to immediately take them back, including in the first quarter. They were down, I think, 29-13 or like 29-14, something like that, 15, 16 points. Came all the way back, went on like a 15-0 run to lead at the end of the quarter. And it was, again, mostly led by Chris Paul doing his thing, facilitating, running the offense, finding open guys. Shout out to him as much as I hate on him. Yeah, it's really frustrating. This was without Luka. I mean, obviously Kyrie is still very capable of leading teams to wins in the NBA. He's Kyrie. We let PJ Washington just torch us. Some of it was just hot shooting for me. At a couple that I don't think you would expect him to hit because it's not like he's Davis Bertans or out there. Like he's not an elite 3-point shooter, but he knocked down a couple tough contested looks. That was frustrating. Down the stretch, I don't know. It was a combination of things. Like we were having trouble containing Kyrie in space. Steph did miss a three that I really expected to go in. with what was it? There's 31.3 seconds left at the top of the key, goes to, gets in his bag, goes to his step back, generates a ton of space. We feel like it's going in to take the lead, and then it just doesn't go in. That I think kind of felt like the nail in the coffin for me, even though we were able to get the ball back, go down tie, only for us to give up the game-winning possession. To me, the game was lost when Steph missed that three, because that just felt like it should have been
The moment.
the moment, but it wasn't. So yeah, I mean, it was just a tough one. And one more thing on that, the game losing possession, it was a terrible defensive possession. We tried to trap Kyrie, it didn't work. Nobody was rotating to help. Gafford just strolls right into the center of the defense. Tim Hardaway gets the ball coming off the short roll. Easiest lob probably in NBA history. Gafford finishes it easily. Game. Sorry, when I said Gafford, it was PJ Washington, my bad, who finished the lob. Same, but still same thing. Just a basic open lob to end the game is very frustrating.
Yeah, I'll be honest, I didn't really watch this game that much, but I was checking the score and it kind of seemed like we were just down the entire game. And then eventually we obviously did make it a game, but yeah, it seems like in the clutch, yet again, we choked. But
Yeah, it's
what
unfortunate,
else
but
is new?
it still doesn't ruin the great streak that we've been having, and hopefully
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
continue this great performances, these great string of performances tomorrow.
Well, luckily, I think it's the Jazz, right? That's who we're playing.
It is Jazz, so it's a
Or
big game. It's a big game for us. We should hopefully comfortably win it. You cannot lose it. We cannot afford to lose now.
especially at home, you just can't lose that.
Exactly. So it's a crucial game. We need to win it.
Yeah. We play the
Absolutely.
Lakers too. That's
So we got a couple of strings of big games coming up. So
I mean, it can't really be overstated. There are how many? There's one, two.
we have five
three,
games
four,
left.
5 games left. 5 games left. Now, if we want the 8 seed, it's not realistic, but it's possible. We need to win out. It needs to be 5 straight wins. That's first, and then some other things have to happen. But most importantly, the Warriors have to win out. The fact we have a game left against the Lakers is an absolute blessing, because they are the team that's currently in the 8 seed. We are 2.5 games behind them. If we assume we're going to win, which again, like I said, we have to win out, so we have to beat them. That makes it 1.5 games. We're going to need them to lose. They've been playing well recently. They do have to play Minnesota, and they have to play New Orleans to close it out. Both of those teams are going to be playing hard. New Orleans is obviously playing for the 6th seed, and they've also been on a pretty good run recently. So, that'll be a tough game for the Lakers. Minnesota's playing for the 1st seed. They're obviously a good team. They'll be playing hard. That'll be a tough game for the Lakers. The path to the Lakers losing 2, if you count the Warriors game as a loss, so that would be 3. It's there, but I mean, it's kind of in God's hands at this point. But the Warriors still should win out. That would be the best possible scenario.
yeah.
Yeah, and
I
I think
feel
it's
like
feasible.
Bernie-
I think it's feasible. The 5-game to end on a 5-game
Yeah.
win streak is totally feasible. The Jazz we could beat, Lakers we've beaten, Trailblazers should be an easy win. Pelicans, it'll be an interesting match because see, there's a 7th seed, right? So we have 2 matches against teams we're literally contending or playing against to make it to the playoffs.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be an interesting last 5 games. Every game is crucial. If we lose one, I'll be heartbroken because look, honestly, if we end on a 5-game win streak, it'll be a real high to end on because that means we ended on winning 10 games out of the last 11.
Oh yeah.
And heading into the playoffs with that type of momentum would be huge. Like I'll basically guarantee us to make it to the playoffs with that because that momentum just keeps you going.
Look, the other thing is we could easily win 5 games and still be the 10th seed. In fact, I would say even if you're assuming that the Warriors are going to win 5 games, that might still be the likeliest scenario. Because
Yeah.
the reality is everybody else is between 8 and 9 games out, like 7, 8, 8.5, 9, and the Warriors are in there at 11 games out. So even if they win 5, that's 2 games in the span of 5 they have to make up. It's not guaranteed. You need the other games to break the right way. But obviously, and it's not like I'm saying anything, revelatory. Steve Kerr knows this, Steph knows this, the Warriors know this. They need to try their damnedest to win those 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's like critical for us to even make it out of the play because if like we're kind of like set to be in the play and we're probably going to play the Lakers
We are,
or
yeah.
best case it's the
the
Kings,
league
I
is
guess. It's like,
rigged.
I would love if we got the Kings, man.
I
I
would
mean,
love to
knock on
King
wood, but
Puerto Rico.
man, we beat them in the playoffs last year. That would be the dream matchup.
Yeah,
Although if it's in the 10-9 game, then we still have to probably would end up maybe playing the Lakers again anyway.
No, I
So
think we have to play the Lakers to make it to the playoffs.
yeah, and that would be a huge test for us.
and
That
Adam
would probably
Silver, God,
I mean, that would be a
This guy.
thriller. Like, I
This
kind of want
guy.
that. I kind of want that to happen.
it would be sick.
Probably
our
It would be,
like
it would be a
it would be,
would be a
an
good
absolute
game.
thriller. You guys think you're gonna be back in town for the playoffs at all? Like, you have any breaks or anything?
I'm gonna
maybe
be
maybe the playoffs, but not the play-in. Play-in's happening in like 2 weeks.
yeah.
Maybe the
Fuck,
playoff. I
man.
mean, I'm planning on coming back at some point during the quarter, so I might
You
as well make it
should,
during the
man. You
playoffs.
should, if like if the Lakers and the Warriors are playing, we gotta watch it, man. That would be freaking fun as hell, man. But
We do like a watch party maybe or something. I don't know.
yeah, maybe we could try to do something like that. But overall, a fun, a good, a positive episode. It's probably the opposite of a cope episode. It's what should we call this? Like, we've had our cope episodes. This should be what's a good what's
Happy.
the opposite of
Uh,
cope?
Realistic. I don't know.
There's gotta be like
You
a
know,
Or
good
accepting.
hope. It's literally hope. Cope was made. The word cope was
Ah.
made to be the opposite of hope.
hope.
Episode.
It's a hope
Isn't
episode.
cope,
Right? Like, you
isn't
love
cope a
that.
real word though? Isn't cope a real word?
Yeah. But but it's like they're natural opposites. You know what I mean?
Yeah, thanks.
It's like
This is the hope episode. So
Yeah.
obviously, I don't think we're gonna win, unfortunately. But just because like, that's what I really like about like soccer and like about cricket, and like it's like 1 or 2 game things. So could be upsets in the NBA.
that's what you gotta love about March Madness.
Exactly, but in the NBA, it's like whoever is supposed to win generally will win, and it's supposed to be the Nuggets or the Celtics, so it's probably gonna be them, unfortunately. So, but who knows? This could be the first year where that changes. It definitely is possible. If any team could do it, it could be the Warriors, because we have the talent, we have the roster. It's not like we just need to be lucky the entire playoffs. We just need our guys to play basketball. So
Yeah, facts.
Yeah.
until next time, we will see you guys.